Welcome to tonight's reflection. You're here, lying in the dark, ears open, mind wandering, and maybe, like countless people before you, you've asked yourself, what happens when we die? No one knows. No one can know, not fully, but theories exist, strange, unsettling, and sometimes oddly comforting. Tonight, we'll walk through them together. 10 minutes of haunting, thought-provoking perspectives about death to fall asleep to. Close your eyes, breathe, and follow the thought. The curtain between waking and nothing. Every culture has wrestled with the mystery of death. Some picture glowing afterlives, realms of fire or bliss. Others imagine rebirth, souls moving from body to body like passengers changing trains. But there's another possibility, one so stark that it offers no story, no continuation. It's the theory of absolute nothingness. Death, under this idea, is not a place, not a passage. It is simply the cessation of all experience. No heaven, no reincarnation, no dreaming, just an end. To picture it, think back before your birth. For centuries, the world turned without you. Empires rose, oceans shifted, stars burned. You weren't there to witness it. It didn't matter. That, this theory claims, is what death will be, a return to the state of never having been. But here's the catch. Our minds can't really imagine nothing. Even when we try, we fill it with darkness, silence, emptiness, things that still require a perceiver. True nothingness is unthinkable. It's not black. It's not still. It's not anything at all. That impossibility makes the idea unsettling. Is death terrifying because it's unknowable? Or is it peaceful because nothingness carries no pain, no fear, no burden? Maybe nothingness is both, but not every theory sees death as emptiness. Some suggest that after the end, you might live again, and again, and again, the eternal recurrence. Imagine this. When you die, your life doesn't simply stop. It resets. You are born again. You live again. And every detail, every word, every mistake, every joy unfolds exactly the same forever. This is the unsettling idea of eternal recurrence. Philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche popularized it in the 19th century, though whispers of the concept go back to ancient Greece, to Hindu and Buddhist cosmology, and to Stoic thought. In this vision, time is a loop, like a film reel that ends only to rewind and play again. Your life repeats endlessly. That strange jolt of deja vu you sometimes feel? Maybe not just a brain glitch, maybe an echo, a faint ripple from the countless times you've already lived this moment. If this is true, how should we live? Should every moment matter infinitely, since you'll relive it forever? Should each joy be embraced as eternal, each mistake endured endlessly? Or does eternal recurrence rob life of meaning, making every effort futile since nothing ever truly changes? The theory is heavy, paradoxical. For some, it's empowering. For others, suffocating. But what if the loop is only an illusion? What if death doesn't restart the cycle, but takes us out of time altogether? The timeless observer. We measure our lives in minutes, in hours, in years. A straight line, past behind us, future ahead. But what if time isn't a flowing river? What if it's a landscape, and we are only travelers moving across it? This is the block universe theory from physics. It suggests every moment exists permanently, like frames in a film strip or pages in a book, past, present, and future coexisting. If this is true, then when you die, you don't vanish. You're simply fixed in the story. Your childhood, your triumphs, your final breath, all forever existing, eternally there. Death doesn't erase the book. It only closes the cover. And if all moments exist simultaneously, then somewhere you are still alive, still laughing as a child, still falling in love, still breathing, forever frozen in time. But what does that mean for free will? If every moment is already written, then are we really choosing or only experiencing what was always there? And if the self is scattered across this timeless block, does death even matter when every you still exists, unchanging, in some chapter of the book? Of course, time is only one angle. The deeper mystery lies not in clocks or calendars, but in the mind itself, the mirror of consciousness. When we talk about death, we don't only mean the body stopping, we mean the mind, the you behind your eyes, ending. But what if consciousness doesn't come from the brain alone? Some scientists and philosophers suggest consciousness is not produced by the brain, but filtered through it. The brain might be like a radio, receiving a signal from somewhere deeper. When the radio breaks, the music doesn't end. It just stops playing in that receiver. If that's true, then when we die, consciousness might continue, unbound from our body. Maybe it merges with a universal mind. Maybe it moves somewhere we can't imagine. But here's the unsettling twist. If awareness continues, what happens to you? Do you remain the same person, carrying memories, identity, and perspective? Or do you dissolve into something vast, your individuality gone, like a drop vanishing into the ocean? If you persist without identity, are you really alive? Or is death simply the loss of everything you thought you were? But suppose even consciousness isn't free. Suppose death doesn't liberate us, but locks us in place forever. The inescapable loop. Some near-death experiences describe tunnels, lights, life flashing in review. People often call them comforting, but what if they're not? One theory suggests that in your final moments, as the brain shuts down, it floods with activity, perception warps, time stretches, memories rush. Now imagine, what if that moment never ends? You die, your brain replays your life, and perception slows to infinity. You relive every memory, every regret, every happiness. And then it loops and loops, an endless replay, a dream you cannot escape. Is that eternity? To relive your life endlessly, trapped in the final echo of a dying brain? Some say that would be torture, living mistakes forever. Others say maybe you'd adapt, sink into the cycle, dissolve into the repetition. But if this is true, then death is not freedom, it is imprisonment, a loop you cannot break. And yet, even these unsettling visions might not cover all possibilities. Beyond these ideas are many more. Fragments of thought that keep philosophers, physicists, and mystics awake at night. The multiverse theory. Maybe you don't die. Maybe your consciousness jumps to another timeline where you survive. You continue endlessly across universes, always alive somewhere. The Omega point. Perhaps all minds converge at the end of the cosmos into one infinite intelligence. A final reunion of consciousness. Information theories. Some claim consciousness is just patterns of information, and information cannot be destroyed. So maybe you persist, not as a self, but as data scattered across reality. The Hollow movement. Physicist David Bohm suggested that what we see is only an unfolding of a deeper, hidden order. Death might be the folding back into that deeper hole, like a wave returning to the ocean. Each theory unsettling, each theory incomplete, none certain. And so we arrive at the horizon we cannot cross. No theory offers proof, only guesses, shadows, reflections of what might await. Maybe death is nothing. Maybe it is endless recurrence. Maybe it is timeless stillness. Maybe it is liberation into consciousness beyond self. Maybe it is an eternal trap. But here is the truth. We don't know. And maybe we're not meant to. Because what gives life urgency, what makes every sunrise meaningful, is the fact that we don't know how many we have left. Every fragile moment matters precisely because it is finite, or at least feels that way. So tonight, as you close your eyes, let go of the need to know. Rest in the mystery. Rest in the not knowing. Because whether death is nothing, a loop, or an eternity, this moment, right now, is alive.